So Bounty Hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no Ray, Raylos, Kyle Ron fans, anything like that. Show up here on my thing and you're gone. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about today. I'm going to be on for a while. It is April Fool's today. I actually thought about playing a joke on y'all, and then I thought that would be mean, so I didn't do it. So there you go on that. Let's see what else is going on. I don't normally wait for people to come into the chat, and the reason why is because I'm never on long enough. So I just get into it. So no April Fool's joke. Again, if you see anything on the news or anything that seems too good to be true, it's April Fool's Day. So guys, so yesterday they dropped two characters from the High Republic that Kevin Scott. I'm Kevin Scott. I'm soy poisoned. I'm addicted to bad things for my body that, are natural estrogens. That guy. Hey, Dakari. He came up with these two non-binary. Hi, Scary. Non-binary. Trans Jedi whose names are, I think, Sarah and Tarek, which, if you go back into G.I. Joe lore, we had Zaymot and Tomax. And honestly, I think Star Trek has some similar characters. And of course, you get the usual, oh, it's so good to see Star Wars putting up representation. La, la, la. All right. I have a trans friend. Others in my other friends of mine that I know, they're supposed to be trans. If you saw the thumbnail on this, it's like, what? It's Zaymot and Tomax. We stopped talking about it when they wait, Sakori. We stopped talking about it when they decide that they're going to stop doing this. Okay? They, and there's feeling out there that they did this deliberately. They wanted to piss us off. It's not that it pisses me off. It's like, when are you going to start telling good stories again? When are you going to start telling good Star Wars stories again? Because none of these are good. Because they're sacrificing storytelling for identity politics. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you something. People that walk around with their sexuality on their sleeves and insist that that's how they introduce themselves to people are fucked up in the head. And people insisting that they see themselves perfectly reflected in novels, comics, movies, TV, are narcissists. And that is a mental illness. So, like, if you go on to the, I think it's the Mandalorian, I think it's a fan club, Instagram, and, I got this idiot tried to chew me out for saying this is stupid. And I'm like, what do you want? Me to throw you a parade? Because or you support trans rights? I don't really, and if I tell you I don't give a shit about any of that, are you a decent human being? I'm the one that's transphobic. I'm the one not pointing the fact out. Why, these are the things. They want to point out our differences, and they're doing it in Star Wars. They want to make those differences into things that are bones of contention and divisive. And they want to use Star Wars to do it. That's not what Star Wars was originally. It was everybody's story, every culture's story. And when you take away those elements. And when you reduce someone to dick, balls, or vagina, or someone who can't decide what they are, um, you know, that's true. That's true. They want to point out different. Yeah, you're right, Ms. Aries. Um, if you've got to use stuff like that to the point where that's the first thing, that's really sick. Um, Stuff like this. Now, as I'm a Catholic Christian, as you know, um, we're treading into a place that has a lot of, I think, spirituality. The thing about romance in the movies back then, Star Wars stuff, falling in love, being in love, that romance was sacred. It meant something. It was a goal. If you look at all going back into your English lit and your European lit, courtly love. There was there's an element of sex involved, but when you look at the big picture, it wasn't the first thing. Okay, it wasn't the first thing. The problems with a lot of TV shows, like if you remember. Oh yeah, Mazarius, you're right. You're right. When you're talking about TV shows set in like the 1500s, late 1400s, the one called The Tudors. I know, Zaris. I know what you're talking about. And they reduced a lot of stuff to sex. But when you look at, sure, I mean that's where it led. I mean, look at Henry VIII. But the way he wooed the girls, the way any of the guys wooed the women, they wrote songs, they wrote poems, they would stand outside their windows, with a freaking band playing lutes and shit. Okay, there were stylized dances. It's courtly love. Okay, if you ever, anybody, raise your hands. Have you ever read, all right, the English translation of The Man from La Mancha, Don Quixote? That's courtly love. That's Miguel de Cervantes talking about courtly love. Courtly love, there's a whole list of things. Look it up. When you're an English lit, when you go into English lit, you will get reams and reams and reams of it. Okay. It's very important to storytelling to do it correctly. And when you reduce a character to dick and balls and vagina to the point where that's how they identify themselves, or if they have any or not, these two twins, there's the element of spirituality, uplifting, of that human need for beauty is gone. They've managed to take away beautiful things because you know you know ask any woman grew up and who went to college in the late in the 80s 90s, who had quite the time, partied like a rock star, who managed to you know they managed to, or who managed to basically cast a wide swath through the DC political establishment. I have to say that the physical aspects of love aren't love. They should be an expression, but they're not. Okay, trying to convince people that it's just a biological need. Well, yeah, and if it's also unhealthy if you express it the wrong way. And what Claudia Gray and Kevin Scott managed to do is write things in a way that are unhealthy for a person. Leox Giassi asking about Jedi sex is not healthy for a kid to read. And it's not, why is a writer putting that in there? then it makes you wonder about her mental capacity. Now we've got these two non-binary trans twins. And it's like, and the five people who care about it. Oh, I'm so glad that they're the representation of a put upon minority. Let's talk about tokenism. Let's go back to The Empire Strikes Back. No one looked at Lando Calrissian as being a black man. He was Han's friend. Okay. Skin color was the last thing. All right. He was, the traitor, the Benedict Arnold, the oh God, Sakori, oh God. Ew. Ew. Um, he was, Lando was basically the Judas Iscariot of the Return of the Jedi, or The Empire Strikes Back. But he redeems himself, unlike Judas Iscariot, who was irredeemable, didn't want to be redeemed, wanted to be redeemed, but he is not. If you look at, is it John 17:9, you're pretty much assured that he's been in HE double toothpicks for the last 2,000 years, questioning his life's choices. All right. Um, but Lando redeemed himself, but he wasn't a token. This is the thing: is he was a character with a lot of depth, a lot of corners that you didn't really want to go down. Quarters you don't want to go down. He was actually kind of a dark character if you think about it. Somebody who would do that to his friend, even over the health of his, his work, is kind of a bad dude. Okay, now Mace Windu, Jedi, lots of hubris. Again, what did I mention? Black. The reason simply is this: Mace Windu is a Jedi Master first. The last thing I would even consider or even notice is what color his skin was. Okay. And it's really interesting to note because Jar Jar Binks was because the media back then and some fans gave Lucas a lot of shit over Jar Jar. That's racist. He's a bad character. It wasn't, there was nothing, he was a caricature. And there was nothing wrong in it. I think the thing that George didn't count on was people not having a sense of humor. Let's put it this way. You couldn't make Cannonball Run 1 today with Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and Burt Reynolds. You couldn't. Okay? There's lots of reasons for that too. Right? Lots. And it's too bad. You can't even find it on pay-per-view on demand. Now I've got it. I think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. And Martin and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and Burt Reynolds go at it over a lot of things that are like taboo now. And it's like, you have to be able to laugh at things. You have to be able to look at things, point out the differences, and saying you're really not different. Okay. And that's what George did by not making a big deal about black men and, in his movies. Okay. So we got that. And then we've got, we got the Jar Jar controversy. And if you look at a lot of the Jedi females, they were played by, women of color. All right. But they were Jedi. Okay. It's like this. When I talk about Vice Admiral Gender Studies, you're an admiral in the Republic Navy. okay, purple hair, weirdo. That's what you are before anything else, before your ovaries, okay? Before anything else, okay? You are a naval officer. You represent the Navy, okay? That's what you are, okay? So her in her lavender dress, which is a signal, and her stupid lavender hair, and her, I guess what Claudia Gray made her is pansexuality, which just means she's bisexual, which is another way of saying she's a dyke. Um, that's bad. A, that's not good writing. B, that's a lack of understanding of how a person in that position would be. Okay. Claudia Gray's never ever met a flag officer. Hey Dave, she's never met probably anybody in the military in her whole life. When you meet a Marine, man or woman, they're Marines, period, full stop. That's what they are. Okay. They're not female Marines or male Marines, they're fucking Marines. That's it. Just like, well, before the Army got politically correct in SJW, if you're an American soldier, you're an American soldier, period, full stop. Man or woman didn't matter. Air Force, Navy, same thing. And it's divisive, in my opinion, to even bring up this bullshit divisive gender shit in the military. Okay, sure, there are things that women can't do that men can. I mean, they're already revamping a lot of the physical stuff, the PT stuff, because women can't train like men. We're not capable of it. All right. And I think it was the army that was like, oops, our bad. You know, who in their right mind would think, I don't care who she is, would think a woman can do the same amount of things that a man can do. We don't have the upper body strength that they have. We are not, we don't have the muscle density that they have, the bone density. We don't have the height. Okay. We don't have the, and our brains are wired different. So, when you've got people wandering around saying, well, I can do just like a man can. Okay, here are the things I can do as well as a man: hunt deer, hunt turkeys, hunt ducks, call ducks, train dogs, ride horses better. Okay. Shoot trap. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that all the time. I can beat guys. All right. Here are the things I can't do. I can't out punch a man. I can't out kick a man. I can't outrun a man. I can't out strong a man. Okay, physically. Okay. There are things I just can't do, and that is fine. It's fine. So when you've got these two twins, they are tokens. Just like every black person that shows up in the High Republic, just like Leax Giassi is a token gay man. All right. He's a celibate token gay man. And it's very, very, very sad that that these people think tokenizing minorities is the way to make them equal. Oh yeah, we got token rock too. But I mean, look at the sequel trilogy. We've got token Asian girl, and then they dare to dress her like a potato. Cute girl, they dress her like a potato. Token lesbian in Haldo. Definitely token Finn. Oh, happy birthday, Dave. Happy birthday. So, but we're the racists because we didn't like the movie. I didn't tokenize John Boyega. You're welcome, Dave. You didn't tokenize Kelly Marie Tran. I didn't either. I didn't, even, to be honest, I didn't know she even had an internet account. All right. That she closed and all this controversy started. And we all know that Jason Ward was the one who did it. I didn't realize, that we're at fault for tokenizing them when we didn't make the movies. When we didn't disappear John Boyega from the Chinese posters. The racists are the people pointing out differences and calling that diversity, when the only diversity we should be even talking about is diversity of thought. But if you do go that route, you stand to be called racist, homophobic, bigoted, whatever. And the reason is this. Diversity of thought is what they don't want. Okay. Diversity of skin color, diversity of sexuality, diversity of, all kinds of different things that are petty differences are used to divide. Okay, they're not serious about any of these things. They really aren't. I mean, I had an SJW basically tell me Martin Luther King was a racist. That's how bad this has gotten. Okay, that's how bad. And we're all just supposed to go, oh, okay, that's fine. No, it's not. It's not fine. It's bad. And I don't really know what the answer is. I don't. It's one of those things where you're like, excuse me, where you're like, you want people to be happy and comfortable with their lives, right? I mean, that's the American dream is to be loved for yourself. I don't remember the American dream being talking about the whole thing where your individuality comes down to who you sleep with. I mean, I have a gay friend who's like, I wish they'd leave me alone. And the reason why is because he's like, I feel like I'm being used. It's like, yeah, you are. If you're gay and, you see this stuff coming, you are being used. Okay? You are. You're a token. If you're a dyke and you don't like what's going on, well, guess what? You saw the fact that you're a token. Black man, you see what they did to Finn. Token. Non-binary, trans, cis, whatever, you're a token. Because there's not that many of those people around. Okay? And it's really kind of like, oh, yeah, no, MK, there already was. Kelly Marie Tran, if you remember. Token Asian, token lesbian, token black man. Now we have token trans, twins. The list is endless. Okay. But we're the racists. We're the ones that, we have to move out of the way for these social justice fascists who don't realize they're doing the exact opposite of what they should be doing, is allowing diversity of thought. Okay. And, you can tell by how bad the High Republic is doing that they're not being successful with this. Let's talk about Brie Larson for a little bit. Mike Zero posted that she was going to be, I think, in the Acolyte. Like that'll ever make it be filmed ever. And excuse me. Wow. She was going to be the most powerful Jedi of all. More powerful than Vader and Anakin. More powerful than Luke. More powerful than Darth Revan. More powerful than Darth Bane. Okay. More powerful than Yoda, Mace, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It, first off, it's a Mike Zero rumor, so ignore it. Second of all, if they actually did do this, it would be the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay? It really would be the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. Excuse me. And the reason is this. It's bullshit. Right? It's bullshit. And no one's going to want to see this. People don't like her anyway. They really, really don't. So anyway, I mean, I'm like, I was actually going to play an April Fool's joke on you guys. But I thought, no, because people take it too far. It's not people that actually believe me, and I'd have to say no, that was April Fool's. So there's a time and place for pulling pranks like that, but not right now the way the media is. Not right now the way the media is. It is just not the time or place. And by the way, back to tokenism. I mean, it's not racist not to notice someone's color. It's the absolute opposite. It's not racist to treat everybody the same. Treat me well, I'll treat you well. It is not homophobic. It is not anything like that. Okay. It is not misogynist to, whether if you're a woman with the bullshit, the mythology of internalized misogyny. It is not any of that to love men and respect men and white men. The opposite of those, forcing lifestyles that you don't, I mean, you really want your kids to be exposed to this? Hear all these weirdos on Instagram. Oh, they're great. They don't have children. And really, when I see some of the shit things that some of these celebrity mommies are doing, I'm like, that's child abuse. Okay, Angelina Jolie and her daughter Shiloh, beautiful blonde haired girl. She looks like Brad. Should not be encouraged, I think, to be doing what she's doing. Call me John. You're 10 years old. Or you're 12. No. I know I saw it sooner, Dave. I know. Why? Because she has older brothers and she wants to hang out with them? She's a tomboy. They're taking, because I was a tomboy. I mean, if you have kids, she's basically encouraging her daughter to be a boy. Call me John. I wouldn't doubt that the kid's on puberty blockers because she's very short for her age. Okay. That's the one thing about that shit. They never tell you. We'll put you on this, but you're not going to reach your full physical maximum potential. Instead of saying, if you feel the same way when you're 18 and you're living out of the house and you really want to do this, you pay for it. And never set foot in my house again. All right? That would be my rule. All right? You pay for it. and I am not supporting you on this, nor will I give you any help. The reason is this. There are a lot of ways to express narcissism in the world. And a lot of these people Angelina Jolie. What are you talking about, Just Nova? A lot of people don't realize that they're, yeah, well, just let me finish. A lot of people don't realize how bad their behavior, how badly it hurts their parents, their brothers, their sisters, their families. Because they can't see anything else about them. I have to express myself. I'm really a woman trapped in a man's. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay. Now, if you are dead set to do it, dead set, as a human being and as a follower of Christ, I have to love you. But I don't have to like what you did. Okay? And it's like, I don't, and to me, to force it on a child is abuse. It's a little boy who doesn't want to be a girl. Leave him alone. And, I got a big house. All right. Perfectly happy to adopt a little boy or a little girl who's being having that shit shoved down their throats by abusive parents, because it is abuse, and it really, it goes to the very kind of fabric of a lot of the things we've been talking about, and not just tokenism, but taking childhoods away from kids. And you can see by the way people who didn't have any childhoods express themselves. The Raylos. They'd never had any opportunity to go outside and play pretend. All right, they didn't have any toys to play pretend with, like we did. And there are older people that have gone through that. Kathleen Kennedy, she didn't have any childhood. Look at the way she acts. Look at the way she behaves. And now they're doing it to everybody's kids because they want, I don't know what they want. Do they want to make, more followers? There are lifestyles that children are not produced. And these lifestyles can't perpetuate themselves unless the people who live that way go out and, herd more kids, picking on the vulnerable, picking on the weak, picking on the kids whose fathers aren't there. You could see that in Hollywood. I mean, that's what the pedophilia issue is in Hollywood. Is these people want to perpetuate their lifestyle, and the only way they can do that is by preying on children. Okay. And it's sad. I mean, you guys remember, I can't remember his name, the guy who played Jake Ryan in 16 Candles. He left Hollywood because of that shit. He's like, it was rampant. And, you had these old, fat, ugly, gay men coming on to him all the time. He don't like this shit. Like I said, it's the gay mafia. It's Michael Ovitz's truth power on that one. All right? They get away with it because no one's ever called them out. I guarantee you there are guys running different production companies in Hollywood. David Geffen is a horrible, horrible predator. James Gunn. You have Bryan Singer, who won't come back to the United States because they'll get arrested for attacking kids. you know. Um, but I guarantee you a lot of those guys are worse than Harvey Weinstein could even imagine. Um, because the thing about it is, differences between men. Michael Sheffling, yep, yep. The guy, he's still good looking too. Wow. Um, the differences between men and women are men are very sexual. Women are very emotional. Those opposites work. They fit together. If you've got guys all together, let's go to the Sopranos episode when they find out Vito's gay. Oh, you didn't know that? Bryan Singer is one of the biggest pedophiles in Hollywood. I'm not kidding. He's horrible. Oh my God. Um, Google that. Google that shit. Okay. Um, when you watch that Sopranos episode and they discover Vito's gay, um, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, what do we do now? You didn't? Everybody did. My God, where have you been? I mean, he's like the most famous one of all. Um, but you know, it's just it's really time for a lot of things to change. I think in order to save the film industry, this stuff has got to change. And you could have your Me Too movement. What about the kids? What about the kids? I know why. Because if you start talking about the rampant pedophilia, the rampant predatory nature of a lot of some of those, there's a there's a documentary here on YouTube called Open Secret, and it's about what goes on in Hollywood. Watch it. It's very eye opening, and yes, Singer is mentioned. Okay, hugely mentioned, by the way, and it's really sick and it's really sad. Uh, but it's but that if they were to actually go and do this stuff and do it the right way and actually fix what's going on with the kids, it would be massive. It would be on a massive scale how bad it would be in Hollywood. All right. And the reason is they would it would destroy a lot of lives. Uh, there are a lot of rumors out there of different very famous an actor, a very famous director. I don't believe any of that. Those two guys, it's just they're too high profile. And they've both been married for donkey's years and have families. Of course, it doesn't make any difference, but still, I mean, you gotta be careful who you accuse. Okay. But I know David Geffen is one of them. Oh, Disney, Disney has its share. I mean, there's a rumor going on that Bob Iger might have a pedo issue. And I don't think it is. I think his issue's casting couch with girls, young actresses. But because he just looks like the kind of slimeball that would do that. But I don't care. All right. If you're desperate enough to sleep in an old fart like that to get a job, I can't. I'm not gonna. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. That's on you. Okay? You're not a victim. You prostituted yourself. Okay? That's the thing I don't like about Jennifer Lawrence. She fucked Harvey Weinstein. You also know that she prostituted herself. Okay? I don't have any sympathy at all for her. And, you know, it's, you just, it's time to be realistic. The real victims of this are the kids. Okay. The real victims of the tokenism are the minorities these SJWs pretend to champion. Anyway, I gotta go. I've been on for 40 minutes, and it's 10 after 3. Oh, yeah. Bob W. Okay, you guys, you're talking about Harvey, right? If it's Bob Weinstein. But anyway, Bob, all right, who's Bob? Harvey's the one that got arrested. I don't, I know his brother's been, okay, I know his brother's been also accused, but really don't care. Anyway, all right, so guys, I think Bob is his brother. But anyway, talk a little bit about tokenism and the fact that they're victimizing people and dividing people. And actually, the racists are the ones that are pointing out people's differences instead of just celebrating, celebrating a diversity of thought and humanity in general. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll see y'all later. Go just fine. He's right back here. Talk to y'all later. See you around the galaxy.